Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Morning Drew. I'm your host, Andrew, and I have a friend with me today. This is my good friend, Daniel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel. A little bit of background on myself. I am the editor of a different podcast, Haunts R Us. Please give it a listen. I'm their editor. They usually refer to me by the name Sock Monkey. That's just because I'm puppeting around the podcast. I do the editing, I do the video editing, so that's me.
Yeah, man, perfect. And then that's actually valuable information for later because I do have questions. All right, spoiler alert. I have a segment called Day Job Tips, where the idea is that everyone has their one main pursuit, as well as a secondary thing that they're good at by accident, just out of necessity. And I know you have a lot of things that you're good at because you've dipped your toes in a lot of different pools, so to speak.
Yeah, and I got fingers on a lot of different pies.
Yeah, man, delicious. This podcast, the main priority here is to give me a reason to stay in better touch with my loved ones, friends, and family, and the like.
Oh.
And so we are, I'm happy to hear from you. I'm happy you're healthy and well and all that. But there is some structure. So we aren't just free balling entirely. So one thing that I really like to get, just out of curiosity, is your astrological signs. And you were kind enough to supply me with your birth time, which I'm grateful for. And I've got it all here. What's your opinion of that stuff? Do you think it's a bunch of commie gobbledygook, or do you think there's any merit to it, or what's your relationship with all that stuff?
My relationship with astrology is, I think it's fun. I think it's a cool thing to do when you're having breakfast, you're looking at the newspaper. I can't say that I put much stock in it.
Sure.
I like to think that, big brain time, I like to think that we have a little bit more control over our own destinies. We can make things happen for ourselves if we'd like them to be. I don't like to think that, the star said that today I'm going to win $1 million, so I guess I'm going to win $1 million today.
Sure.
But, that's just me being cringe. But
if I had $1 million for every time the newspaper said I was going to win $1 million, but all right, I think that makes sense. I'm not terribly different myself. I think it's fun. I like keeping up with it, and I think it's cool that it goes a little deeper than just your one sign. But you got to live your life. And so I've got your signs here. You are a Gemini.
That is correct.
People have their big three. They have their sun sign, their moon sign, and their ascending or rising or whatever you want to call it. So your sun is in Gemini. That's the main one. But you also have your moon in Pisces, and your ascending is in Taurus.
Okay, and I definitely don't know what those mean.
Sure.
I didn't even say it. I was going to make a joke how I saw Jupiter Ascending, that Wachowski siblings movie. And I remember Mila Kunis was in it. But
Sure.
I don't know what those things mean.
Yeah, you're all good, man. They mean just kind of the same as your sun sign. It's just got a little bit more variety to the way you behave. Because I'm sure you've maybe heard people that are one sign and they're like, yeah, but it's bullshit because I don't even do that. And it's just like, all right, well, what's your moon and what's your ascending? Maybe this fleshes out your personality a little further. For me, I am a Capricorn. I have a Capricorn moon, and my ascending is in Pisces. So the thing with Capricorn is they're a little bit cold. Some even say boring. They've got kind of some resting bitch face action. They're workaholic mode a lot of the time. They're about their money, stacking it to the roof.
Putting Patron in their cup.
Say that again?
Oh, that was an old podcast to listen to where the guy running it was like, I'm making that money, stacking the paper, putting Patron in the cup. He said it as a big, long phrase.
Damn, I almost did all three. I set you up for that third one nicely. And that is true of me to an extent. I can sometimes be a little stoic to a fault, but my ascending is in Pisces, so I do have that creative vein in me that kind of, I think, comes out in the way that, I like to write jokes. I'm kind of, I don't know.
I mean, you're making a podcast. That's creative.
True. And so your moon is in Pisces, and so maybe you have that creative flair as well. Maybe that's why you get so much joy out of editing and putting things together.
Yeah, and it is actually interesting that you bring that up, not just to toot my own horn, but it was my New Year's resolution for 2020 to make original content. I whenever I'm on Twitter, whenever I'm on the image boards, I like to participate with any community that I'm in, and whether that means making jokes, whether it's making a dumb meme, I enjoy doing that sort of stuff. But my New Year's resolution for 2020 was I wanted to try to make just original content, whether that meant, or that mostly meant, making videos, short little 10-second, 30-second long videos of just a joke I thought of. And a lot of times that came down to just editing down a video, because it's a lot better than, or a lot easier rather than, gathering all my buddies during coronavirus and saying, hey, we're going to record this sketch together. And then they're like, no, dude, I don't feel like dying. So a lot of times that creativity just comes down to, I'm going to take clips of the cartoon Clone High where the character Gandhi says, say what, and then put it to different songs.
Yeah, that was hella funny. You put that on your Twitter, right? Do you want to plug your Twitter?
Oh, yes. I am at not really Noel, underscores between the words. I had an older Twitter account that was the same exact name until it was very literally hijacked by Al-Qaeda. I found out at a different job when one of my old coworkers was like, yo, dude, check your Twitter. And then I got locked out of my phone, and then they showed me, and then it was just like jihadist stuff, and it was crazy. Christ. So Twitter cracked down on that and got a new one.
That's happened to you a couple of times, hasn't it?
I've certainly been locked out of various different accounts. The Twitter being hijacked was probably the most extreme case.
Right. And then I think more recently Angela was saying that your Roblox got taken over.
That is right. That is absolutely right. My Roblox account was hijacked by a whole bunch of MAGA dudes. And what they were doing was they sent out a million different friend requests to a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds messaged them saying, ask your parents who they're voting for. Remember to ask your parents to vote for Donald J. Trump. He's going to do... And then fucking a bunch of... just nonsense. It was like, he's gonna make sure you guys get candy every day, or just things that only children would be like, candy every day? Mom, Trump's gonna give me candy. It was completely ridiculous. And I found out through just some random article, and I was like, what the heck? Let me check on that. And then sure enough, my Roblox account was hacked.
God damn it, that's so funny. I mean, it sucks. It's scary to think that you were a tool.
It absolutely sucked. And I had to go one by one. And I felt bad for these kids. Hopefully they just don't read their messages, or they're like, oh, who is this creep? And I had to hey, I'm sorry, my account was hacked. I don't believe any of that stuff. And I don't. I hate the guy. But, neither here nor there.
Sure. God damn it, that's funny. Yeah, dude, my 2020, it's on paper, I had the perfect 2020 in that I swore to work less and to get more money, and prioritize spending time with people I care about, and that happened all right, against my will. Obviously everything was shut down, and I just miraculously got more money. It's dang, dude. You know that game that I don't know if it's specifically Mexican or if it's just other Latin American things, where at the end of the year they have a big cake and there's a little baby hidden inside the cake?
Yes, I am very familiar. Again, I don't know if it's specifically Mexican, but as a specific Mexican, I do know that we do that.
Yeah, man. So I was at work and they're like, hey, man, you want a piece of cake? And so I was all right, time to take a big bite of this juicy looking cake. And then, yeah, there was a little baby in there. Damn. And they're like, all right, now you got to bring me $20 for the taco party. And I was like, thanks for the cake. Yeah, definitely. I'll bring it to you next year for sure. And then I never saw him again, obviously.
Jokes on that.
But part of me, I'm pretty guilt laden. If you can show me something that's wrong, I'll find a reason why it's my fault that it happened. And so you can blame 2020 on me for finding this baby, because that's the way with which the universe chose to give me money in the new year. Because I think that's part of the tradition, right? If you find the baby, you're going to get money.
I don't know what it is. I feel like different families have it mean different things.
All right.
So it's a lot of times it is just something as simple as, oh, well, you got the blessing, so you owe us money because we didn't get the blessing.
Yeah,
And bless us by paying for all this shit.
well, when I got the baby, they're like, "Hey, man, that means you're gonna get money in the new year, which means you should give me $20 for the taco party I'm throwing in the new year."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'll pay you when I see the tacos, dude."
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah,
never saw
so
them.
not out of the ordinary. I mean, that kind of is what it is. Maybe he just wanted some free tacos, and who could blame him? Who among us wouldn't want free tacos?
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Um, your ascending is in Taurus. Taurus is notorious. Notorious.
No, yeah, I was trying to workshop that too.
For being a big fan of the finer things in life. They like whining. They like dining. They like art and the arts. They like lounging. Do you think that lines up with the way you live your life to an extent? Do you identify with any of those?
Um, I don't know. As much as I'd like to say I like to live deliciously, I am a bit of a giant stinge, but that's something I definitely learned from my parents.
That's another thing, is that they're not bad with money, but they definitely have a relationship with money.
Yeah, so like I don't want to like blow myself up and say I'm really stingy with money. I don't like lending money. I don't like spending money. Just I usually don't have money to spend. So
Yeah, it's
my
Taurus.
dad was always the type of person who was like, if you have money, spend the money, because what's the worst going to happen? You won't have any money, and then you'll just get more money, and then you can use it to buy more things. But my mom was always just like, if I have $3 and I spend $1, then I'll only have $2, and $2 is less than three, so I don't want to do that.
So she'll spend $0,
uh,
or will she spend all three?
eh, like how badly did that dollar need to be spent?
Oh, I see. Oh, wow, those are definitely opposing views.
Yeah, but that isn't to say where it's like if you want something you should get it. I definitely will indulge in myself, but it will be for things that aren't like too damaging. Like I don't know. I think the most expensive thing that I own is probably like my fight stick. I play a lot of fighting games,
Sure.
so I bought myself this really nice heavy duty arcade stick that has like like the joystick that you'd seen in an arcade, the 8 buttons that you'd seen in an arcade, and I've had it for years. But it was just like I had to plan on which one I was going to buy. I had to like do this whole rigmarole for this thing that I knew that I wanted. It took me like months and months to get it, and I had to talk to other people to kind of like validate my purchases. So
Yeah.
as much as I like to, indulge myself. Oh, I'm sorry. I also have this desktop that I recently built and used to edit all that stuff I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier. And it cost me like about $1,200. And that was the sort of thing. I've been building this computer, having bought 0 parts for the better part of like 2 years. And then one day I got a mysterious check from the government. And that was the sign that said, hey, build this thing you've been wanting to build this whole time.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm all about reading the signs, and I mean, you've already done it, so you made the choice, which in my opinion was an excellent choice because you're big cyber, man. Like you're connected. You
Yeah,
like to do
I'm
online
online
things.
for better or worse.
Yeah, so like why wouldn't you spend your money on the thing that you do probably the most out of your day?
Yeah.
Is that inaccurate to say that you spend most of your time on the computer, whether through work or leisure?
I would definitely say I do a lot of that stuff for work. At my previous job, I was repairing computers. People would come in, I'd talk to them, they'd yell at me, and then I'd fix their stuff. But now I do something similar, except it's a more low-key, smaller operation where it's just me and my boss, and we get dispatched places, and we're doing this stuff. But
Right.
it is a lot of stuff on computers. It is whether I'm working remotely, whether I'm visiting an office, there's usually always a computer within arm's reach.
You know, I think that's a pretty organic segue into those day job tips that I referenced earlier, because this is actually the specific field that I had questions about.
Ah,
So you're big tech, especially when it comes to the hardware. You specifically work in that field now. Like that's where you get your bread and butter, so to speak.
yes.
So, what I like to get out of these day job tips is like, what advice would you have for a novice? So, like, everybody for the most part has computers these days. What is like a bare minimum thing that you think a person would not think to do until they knew better, if that makes sense?
let me see if I can understand the question a little bit more.
So let me frame it this way. Grandma got a computer.
Gotcha.
What are some basic things that Grandma would not know to do that will save her a lot of trouble in the long run?
Oh, okay. So at that first job that I was at, one thing that I would tell a lot of our clients would be not to be afraid. And what I kind of mean by that is, for somebody who's playing around a lot with technology, is know what you're doing, but not necessarily in the sense that, like, I'm going to download 3 gigabytes into my computer. No, it's like, hey, if you're going to do something, know what it is that you're doing. Like, know the buttons you're pressing, know the things that you're clicking on, so that way you know if something does go wrong, how to go backwards. Like, not to, like, leave breadcrumbs for yourself, because that's a little bit difficult when it comes to technology. But it's like, just do things deliberately. Don't randomly click on things. Don't randomly press buttons. Don't, like, mash your keyboard. It's like, if you're going to do something, do it because you meant to do it. And I mean, that's kind of just, like, generally life advice. But I definitely have a different piece of advice. And it's bad advice. Like, don't get me wrong. What I'm about to say is genuinely bad advice. Do this to your own risk. I will tell you that it is something that I personally do in every job I've ever had, specifically in every interview I've ever had, which is, drumroll please, lie. Kids always know your ABCs, which of course stands for always be lying, lie to your boss, lie to your clients, lie all the time. Because they probably won't know.
Sure.
If your customer is looking at you saying, "Why is this happening?" Give your best guess, but say it confidently, because they'll say, like, "Oh, so you don't know? I'm paying you X amount of money and you don't know what's happening to my computer?" And if you tell them in a way that sounds like you know what you're talking about, like if you say, like, "Oh, well, you know, I see this all the time. What you actually did was you downloaded this thing and, oh, shoot. I was just saying how I lie in interviews. If your boss asks you, or if whoever's interviewing you is asking you how much money you made at your previous job, write more than what you were actually making, because they're not going to check." I made $18 an hour at my previous job. "Oh, you want to pay me more than that? Dang, that's so crazy, because I actually made that much, so you got to pay me more than that."
Yeah.
Which is like, hey, were you unemployed this whole time, the government? No, I'm not going to tell you to lie to that. But I guess I would probably say be deliberate with your actions. I would definitely say that is probably genuine advice. If you're going to do something, know that you're doing it, know why you're doing it, know how you're doing it. And even if you don't know how to do it, another third advice is, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to do a little bit of research. Don't be afraid to access all the resources that are available to you. There will be plenty of times where I'll go to a client's office and they'll say, "Hey, can you fix this?" And I won't know how to fix it, and I'll YouTube it, and then I'll fix it right there for them. And then they'll say, "Oh, wow, you really know your stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, and I definitely knew it the whole time." Second piece of advice.
$100, please.
Yeah.
Or however much it costs. Yeah, that's something I found in my adult life, is, like, most things are much more accessible than you'd think. Like, I fixed my bathroom sink a couple weeks ago just because, like, I Googled it. I didn't want to have to call my landlord and have them call a plumber and have a plumber come and fart all over my apartment.
Yeah, if anyone's going to be farting, it's you.
Exactly, man. And so I just Googled it, and sure enough, even on YouTube, the guy was like, "Hey, this is super easy. You just unplug this, cover your nose, dig it out, throw it out, plug it back in, bada bing, bada boom, you fixed your sink."
Yeah, that reminds me of how a year or two ago I had to install a bidet. Just my girlfriend was saying, "Hey, we need some, like, we're taking care of our grandmother who's needed some assisted living. So one thing that the doctors recommended was to install a bidet." So I was like, "I've never installed a bidet before, but, you know, how hard can it be? If a plumber can do it, why can't I?" And, you know, I kind of just did it. It took like an hour or two, and it wasn't easy, but, you know, it wasn't difficult. But got a little bit wet.
Yeah. It's just a matter of being confident and not doing anything dumb and like following the instructions. Is that terribly inaccurate?
No, I would say that is very accurate. I mean, that kind of goes along with what my first piece of advice was, like, be deliberate with your actions.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do something, make sure it's because you read the instructions and the instructions told you to do it.
Yeah. Something I struggle with that makes things that would not otherwise be intimidating is a lack of confidence, because it's just like, now how am I going to fuck this up? At what point in these step-by-step instructions am I going to get it wrong and do a bad job? And it's like, just do it, man. And if anything goes wrong, at that point, reach for help from an expert or something, but just don't have self-doubt. Just do it, man. Other people do this, so you should be able to do it. You are also people, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Yes. So so just don't be intimidated by it when it comes to tech stuff. Act deliberately, know what you're doing, follow the instructions, and depending on what side of the counter you're on, if you don't know, then
tell people you do know.
Next that I have here, every week or so, I find myself with kind of a new obsession, and I binge on that obsession until the point where I can't stand the sight of it any longer, and I cut it off entirely. And then at that point, people are like, "Hey, Andrew, how you still digging so and so?" And I have to tell them like, yeah, sure." Meanwhile, in my head, I'm like, I never want to hear that phrase ever again. I hate that thing. Why would you? So I call this segment "What You Digging, Dude?"
Oh man, what am I digging?
So what you digging, dude? What are you into right now? What's your current obsession, if you don't mind me asking? If you're open to sharing it, that is.
Well, I do have a couple of things that I enjoy, but what am I currently digging?
Yeah, like what were you listening to in your car today? Is there a certain album, or did you watch a movie recently that you really like? Or is there a certain food item that you're really craving or something?
Oh man, I definitely know what I've been digging. So there's this new series that just popped up on Netflix a couple of months ago called Great Pretender, named after the Freddie Mercury song. And what it is it's an anime about con men. And every 4 or 5 episodes is a whole different con. Like they're gonna con, a gangster. They're gonna con an airplane race. They're gonna con a bunch of stuff. And it was something that during the time where I was unemployed, it would be where my girlfriend, fiance would drop by my house. We'd make breakfast as we're making it. We're watching the show, and it was great. It was 12 episodes, bing bang boom. Finished it really cleanly, and she got really bummed when the first season was over, because she was like, "Man, I'm never gonna watch this show for the first time again."
Oof, that's a feeling, all right.
Yeah, it sure is, and. We were just like, oh, well, if the season had just ended, we're probably looking at like a year until the next season is over. And sure enough, it released, and we watched it, and we killed it in a day. All 12 episodes, we slammed that thing, and it's a really great show. I really enjoyed it. It has a nice jazz soundtrack. There's like a bunch of piano and the sax and everything, and it gave me a real, what is it? Ocean's 11 type vibe.
Cool.
Because it's like everybody's cool and everyone's doing their thing, and everyone's like confident, and everyone's like the music is going. And shout outs to Steven Soderbergh, who just got amazing music in his run of Ocean's movies. And I remember thinking, watching the on Netflix, you can skip the intro, but it's a really enjoyable intro.
Oh, it's on Netflix. That's good to know.
Yeah, it is on Netflix. Where you can skip the intro, but it's a cool song, and it's the sort of thing where you're watching the intro and you're like, oh, I recognize that thing. That's the thing from this episode. So you're watching it every time, and you're understanding a little bit more and more. But boy, do I never ever want to hear the intro to Cowboy Bebop ever again. Never want to hear that song ever again. It's like, oh yeah, banat, and like, oh dude, okay, I was done with that song in like freshman year, dude. I ain't ever want to hear that song. It's like, oh yeah, dude, I love jazz. Banat. Like, oh dude, get away from me, dude. But yeah, if you enjoy crime, if you enjoy jazz, very cool show. That's what I'm digging.
Yeah, I'm looking at images of it right now. It looks slick.
Yeah. It has a really good first season, and not to say that the second season was bad, but it has a really interesting decision that they made on the final episode, or the second to last episode specifically, where something is happening, and me and my fiance were like, yes, this rules. The thing that's currently happening deserves to be happening, and then it goes in a different direction, for better or worse. Some people might say worse. I would say it's for worse, but it has a satisfying ending, even if it goes in a different direction than I would have preferred it to have gone.
Sure. Is it over? Was it just the 2 seasons? Did
Yes.
they put a button on it?
It is definitely over. Each section, each con, as it were, is they're getting the person who they're getting, but it is centered around a specific character. And the first 3 seasons were about were about 3 members of the cast, and the final season is about the only person who didn't get a specifically themed con. Mm-hmm. And now that all 4 of them got it, it's done.
Hell yeah. Great Pretender. So, since you brought up that beautiful Japanese animation known far and wide as anime, I know that's something that you really enjoy.
From time to time.
Yeah. I have another segment that I like to do on here where, like, if something organically comes up, I ask them what their top 3 of it is. And I think this makes sense to ask you, because I know you enjoy these things. You watch a lot.
I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that I watch a lot. I'm not the type of person who like, I'm going to watch an anime just because it's an anime. No. I usually watch things because it comes recommended to me. Whether that's like, people on the internet, whether it's like friends of mine, whether it's coworkers of mine.
Sure.
But I mean, it's like, I'm not going to listen to a random music album just because, it's new. I'm probably going to listen to it because somebody told me to listen to it.
I see. But,
I would definitely say still have a top 3. I mean, like, I'm not going to lie to the audience and say I don't have like multiple shelves of like anime figures. Like, I'm looking at, X, Y, and Z character right now.
I'm not trying to paint a certain picture or anything. But I'd be curious to know if you are able to put together a top 3.
Oh, I can absolutely do that.
Let's hear it, man.
In no particular order, I won't say that this show is the best show, and it's and I don't want people to think like, oh, well, this guy's only been like, oh, that show's dumb. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
I think I would call this top 3 favorite versus top 3 best.
Yeah, okay. That's
if that
fair.
helps.
I was gonna say like helps. these are the ones that I enjoy. Like, yeah. I'm not gonna tell anybody that the Beastie Boys is the best rap group in the world, but it's certainly one of my favorite bands.
Right.
And that doesn't mean anything other than it's something that I enjoy. Anyway, I digress. Gosh, what would I say is my top 3? I don't know. I would probably say Jimmy John's Wacky Adventure. Of course, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is certainly one of my favorite shows.
You were vocal about JoJo from the start, man. I remember.
Yeah. Much to my, I wouldn't say embarrassment, because it's such a, big thing now on the internet where it's like, is that a JoJo's reference? And I definitely was one of those guys, unfortunately. But, so.
You live and you learn.
I was reading it since high school, and it was always something I thought was super dope. And I remember, was it 2012? It had to have been 2012. A really good year for your boy. That it started being animated. There were 2 shows that came out on the same season. I don't know the name of it in Japanese, but I do know the name of it in English. It was Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions, which is about a girl who likes to imagine herself doing like dumb middle school stuff, and like, oh, I'm a wizard and I have the eye patch and I'm gonna do this, and it's a show about that. I only bring that up because I believe it came out the same season as JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Their show, like, anime usually come out summer, fall, winter. They come out in seasons. A show will usually be 12 episodes because it's airing in that season, and then it's done. So I remember when I was first speaking to, my girlfriend, I was like, hey, so I know that you like anime, and these are some that I'm watching. Do you want to watch this? And she goes, oh, that's so cute. I used to be like a cringe teenager, so I like watching this anime about cringe teenagers. And we got along like that. And they're like, hey, so since you like that show, I'm also watching this one, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Have you heard of that? And she goes, no, I haven't. I'm like, cool, let's watch it. And we really enjoyed it. And I remember those two shows as being really good. I wouldn't recommend that Chunibyo show. It's it's cute, but if you hate cute things, then probably skip.
Yeah,
but
I didn't want to be condescending, but I'm looking at images here, and that was the word that came to mind. And I was gonna say like, oh, this looks cute, but I didn't want to accidentally be like, oh, this looks cute. It's just like, no.
I mean,
like
I'm not gonna like. There's not much substance to it. I mean, you're watching it because you think the girls are cute, but I mean, like, wow, I really resonated with this being a cringe teenager. I thought that's why I was watching it. But I would definitely say that JoJo's is really good. Specifically, Part 4. It's my favorite. It has my favorite guy in it, Josuke Higashikata. He's my boy. He's my boy. Second, I watched this show because I heard it was cool. I heard it was like the Evangelion of magical girl anime. It's so dark and edgy, and the girls aim down scopes. And that would be Madoka Magica. It's a really cool show. Really, I don't know, man. Everyone says like the third episode takes you by surprise. Like, whoa, that happened. But no, it was really cool. I really enjoyed it, and it was also one of the things that I got to bond with my girlfriend, because like, oh wow, you're a fan of this show too? Cool. Let's talk about this show that we really like. I don't want to talk about it too much, other than it's like it's not like the sort of thing where it's like, what if Sailor Moon had gun in it, or like, what if Mario did drugs? But I mean, it's cool. It's about people
cool.
who live in a real world, and magical stuff happens in it. I don't know. It's cool. I enjoy it. It's gritty and real, and the girls aim down scopes, except that doesn't happen. Only one of them does. Maybe even two of them. Gosh, what is my third?
Oh, wait, what? I got JoJo, the...
Oh, no. That other show with the cute girl in it. I only bring that up to say it was the gateway to me getting my girlfriend to watch JoJo.
Aha. Oh, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I kind of have that with Angela with the band Ghost.
Yes.
Yeah, early on.
Funny Scooby-Doo music.
I mean, yeah, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, early on when we were like talking and texting, and like the conversation of, well, what do you do? Like, I was just listening to a lot of Ghost. Mm-hmm. And so I sent it her way, and she was like, this is fantastic. And I was like, oh, cool. And then...
Love to hear it.
Our first... Well, not our first date, but one of our first dates where I officially, formally asked her to be my big titty goth GF.
Nice.
Was at a Ghost show, which was also her birthday, and is now our anniversary, because...
Dang.
She agreed to it. Yeah, I know. I'm very good at birds and stonesing it, in that, like, a lot of our important dates are on the same day. I'm efficient in that way.
Yeah. You get to remember less dates.
And then in a previous relationship, I did the same thing. So, I don't know if that's just good organization or laziness or what you would call it, but I'm still proud of myself regardless.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Before we get back on topic, let's stay off topic for just real quick.
Sure.
Christmas, got to get my girl presents. January, got to get my girl presents because it's our anniversary. February, got to get my girl presents because we have Valentine's Day. It's the gift apocalypse. I'm definitely broke.
Winter's the worst.
Yeah, winter sucks.
Yeah, man.
All right.
The winter of our discount spent too much money.
Dang, got him.
Oof. My next question is, how do you edit things out of Audacity? No, I'm kidding. No. So, yeah, your formal final installment onto this list, if you are still interested in doing that.
Oh, yeah. gosh, it's a pick out of nowhere. It's like a super old show, and I remember watching it because I saw an episode of it on G4. Remember G4, everyone? Like super late at night, they would air anime, and it would be like really obscure ones that I had never heard of before. And there was one that they aired called Magical Shopping Arcade Abenabashi, and it was a coming of age tale between these two kids, and they're closing down this like flea market thing, and they're like, but no, this, like, what are we gonna do, because we're young and we hang out and this is the only time I get to see my friends. And I remember watching like a couple of episodes of it. I'm like, wow, this show's cool. And then, you know, G4 started to show only cops, and I couldn't finish the show. So I think like the year I graduated high school, I was like, well, I have a PlayStation 3 and I just figured out how to stream stuff from a desktop to a PlayStation. I'm going to download the show and I'm going to watch it. Oh, yeah. And it wasn't just so much that, you know, I enjoyed the show and I wanted to watch it. It was also that my youngest brother was like, hey, what's this show? This show's kind of cool. And we decided that we were going to watch one episode a day until the show was over. Cool. And it was kind of like, wow, I get to bond with my little brother about this stuff. And I don't know, it was cool. It was like, he would be like, oh yeah, so I wanted to watch the show, but I knew you were working today, so I didn't watch it. So maybe we can watch it tomorrow. Dang. And I don't know. I really appreciated it. And
hang on to that guy.
Yeah.
Keep that guy around.
So I would definitely say those three. Are they the best? I have good reason to say yes. I have fond memories associated with them, which makes them good to me.
Sure. I'm into it, man. Yeah, like, anytime I think about things I like, I have to have two categories. Things that are my favorite and things that are probably actually better than my favorites, probably, but I don't care. Sick, dude. These all look really fun. I'm looking at images of them. And are they all on Netflix, or do I have to go out of my way to find these?
Two of them will surely be on Netflix. But not that last one I said. That one, you have to do a little bit of searching across the 7 seas for them.
I never said what I'm digging, dude.
Yeah, what are you digging, dude? Let me ask you the question, so that way you have a reason to answer.
Yeah. Well, in my defense, I've recorded like 3 different installments of this program this past week, so I'm still currently digging the Jak and Daxter franchise.
Yes. Back when people liked Naughty Dog.
Who does?
No, like back when people had a positive opinion of the company Naughty Dog.
Yeah, man. I mean, they did what young Andrew had the bright idea to do, which is, I'm sure you've had this opinion when you were younger, but at the time, Jak and Daxter was so freaking gorgeous to look at. It was like the epitome of good graphics, in my opinion, in my experience.
Yeah, as far as PS2 games go, Jak and Daxter is great and only looked better.
Yeah, and as a kid, I was like, why are the people making Grand Theft Auto wasting their dang old time? Naughty Dog should be making real gritty games like those, and making people do violence and making real games.
Yeah.
And then I think they moved on to make, Uncharted, I think, was the next franchise they did.
Yeah, they did Uncharted, and then nothing else.
Yep, and then that's where the line ended, and they became Naughty Nog.
Yeah.
And then, of course, looking back now, it's kind of like questionable, like, there sure are a lot more squares on this screen than I remember. But then I played it for like half an hour, and then suddenly I was like, never mind, this game's beautiful. It's so bright and fun and bouncy. And then last installment of Morn and Drew, I had the observation, because I beat Jak and Daxter, and then I immediately fired up Jak 2. And have you played Jak 2 as well?
Jak 2 is Jak in the Big City, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It is Grand Theft Auto, but it's Jak and Daxter.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. Talk about tone whiplash. I understand if you had a year or two in between them to pick it up after you had played Grand Theft Auto and was like, this is great. But going from one straight into the other is like, am I playing the same franchise? What? Yeah.
That's like such a. I personally find that to be such a bummer, because it reminds me of a problem that people are having with fighting games right now, where the companies that are making these games are trying to expand to different audiences, to the alienation of the audience that's already there. It's like, why are they making this game more like this when it's going against the whole reason why I bought it? Like, imagine that you're like, man, I love Crash Bandicoot. I love Crash Bandicoot so much. I'm looking so much forward to Jak and Daxter. I love Jak and Daxter. It is the game I like. Like, there's like a hub world just like Banjo-Kazooie, but there's these cool levels. Wow, I love Jak and Daxter. And you're like, I can't wait for that good old Jak 2, where he's gritty and real and aiming down scopes.
Yeah,
And...
yeah, fascism bad. I'm gonna kill this guy. Murder, death. The water is made of poison.
Dang, we better get in our Jak Combat Racing Evolved.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still having fun with the game. I enjoy it, but it took me a minute to like recalibrate the kind of game I was playing.
Yeah.
So that's been something I've been digging. Another thing I discussed last installment was that I can't get enough of that special energy elixir sugar-free Red Bull. It is so good to me right now. I could drink, like, water? What's water? Get me a sugar-free Red Bull, dude.
Oh, no, dude. I love water. I am a hydro homie, dude. As much as I love Red Bull is the only energy drink that I can tolerate, honestly. Everyone's like, oh, LOL Boomer Juice, the white Monster can. I mean, it's good as far as Monster goes. I mean, like, don't drink Monster, especially don't drink Rockstar. And if it's not any of those, then like, why are you drinking energy drinks? It's like, oh, dude, Bang or Sovereign or whatever has the Spartan thing on it, dude. It has Leonidas's blood in it, dude. It has Leonidas's cum in it, dude. It's so good. Man. Like, no, dude, drink a Red Bull. They sponsor some of my favorite fighting game players, and it doesn't taste like garbage. But sugar-free Red Bull, I would put directly below water as one of my favorite drinks, alongside a bunch of drinks that I like more than sugar-free Red Bull.
It makes me so glad that you're saying this, man, because beverages has been a recurring topic on this program so far, and yeah, dude, I have
opinions on drinks.
I have almost the identical opinion to you, except sub out sugar-free Red Bull, sub out Red Bull with vanilla Coke, where it's like I identify this as the most delicious drink. I save it for special occasions, but if I have a favorite drink, get me a cup of water.
Yeah.
It's the most versatile. You can have it ice cold, refreshing. You can have it piping hot, cleansing. You could put a little lemon in there. What a treat. You could install a bidet and shoot it up your ass. What a thing of beauty.
Any way I can get it. If my body has a hole in it, water should be in it, around it.
Yeah, man, it makes me very glad to hear you say that. But you put Red Bull in your top 3 as well?
No, I meant to say that like water I would put on the pedestal. A lot of things are below water, directly below it even. There's things I won't drink, things I will drink, and water.
Hell yeah. Do you have a top slot if water didn't exist anymore?
Let's see here. I was having a conversation with nobody about what other people might call a daydream. That like my top 5 not Red Bulls, my top 5 like Mountain Dews don't even have original flavor Mountain Dew in them.
Whoa.
Yeah, original Mountain Dew might be like number 5 in my top 5 Mountain Dews.
Wow.
Not to say that like Mountain Dew's my favorite drink. I would probably say it's, I don't know, like a nice apple soda. I love apple soda.
Manzanita de Sol.
Manzanita Sol. It's my boy. That's my boy. I love apple drink. Whether it's a nice apple juice, whether it's a nice apple soda, whether it's a nice apple cider, I love it. This guy's
all natural.
I'm all natural, baby. I would probably say apple drink, like parentheses, apple parentheses drink is probably my number 1. Number 2 would be, hey, what do you call it when you put like a soda and something else? Some people call it a cocktail. If you mix 2 drinks together, regardless of what they are, people call it a cocktail.
Yeah, that's the word I was going to use.
Yeah. I don't know why it was in middle school. They're like, oh, that's called a suicide. If you put 2 sodas, that's a suicide. Remember, don't say the word. I know you know the word, but don't say it.
Sure.
What do you call it when you put a McDouble and a McChicken together?
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the same sort of thing where it's like, hey, we're going to use outlandish language to call things like two sandwiches on top of each other. A weird thing is like, I'm going to put two sodas together and call it a suicide.
That's funny. That's teenager shit, dude.
Yeah, that is absolutely teenager shit. But I say all that to say, my second favorite drink is going to Costco, getting a hot dog and a drink for $1.50, going to the drink, filling it up with just a little bit of ice, filling it with about 75% lemonade, and filling the rest with Sprite. And
ooh, sparkly.
Yeah, dude, that's my favorite. I love it. It's like an Arnold Palmer if he was as smart as me.
An Arnold scholar.
Yeah. Got him.
That's genius. And I think I'm having the vivid memory now of me having a similar cocktail in hand and you deliberately asking me, did you put the flat part of that drink first and then the Sprite on top of it to mix it together?
Mm-hmm. I remember this conversation, yeah.
Is that important to you? Is that an important part of this cocktail?
It is, because I'm thinking two ways. I'm thinking like the not the gravitational force, like the force of, you know, the fountain drink shooting the Sprite, or, you know, lemon lime carbonated soda of choice, into the cup. It's like it's jostling it around, and the fact that it's carbonated is also double jostling it up. I mean, I also just like putting more lemonade than I do soda, just because like I try not to drink soda if I can help it, just for health reasons. But it's like I feel like it just makes sense, because like if you're getting the jets poured of lemonade into a cup that already has Sprite in it, then you're gonna get flat Sprite because it's just got all jostled up because you're putting it in for longer. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like I feel like logistically it's the right idea.
It's very smart.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm sure it doesn't make it taste better, but it's like why do you always put peanut butter before jelly? Like, well, why do you always put jelly before peanut butter? It's why do you always put the horse before the cart? I think that's probably like my main opinions on drinks. I enjoy them. Oh man, how could I have forgot about Gamer Fuel? All right, so let me talk about Red Bull. Not Red Bull. Mountain Dew, really quick. Mountain Dew flavors. You got Blackout.
Ooh.
No, it's not Blackout. It's Whiteout. You got Mountain Dew Whiteout. It's when you get a thing of Whiteout, you put it on your tongue, and then you drink Red Bull. No, there was like the special creative flavor, and there was like the special Whiteout, and it was so good. Oh, I love it. And then they did the same thing again. It was Mountain Dew Voltage, and I was like, oh, I love it. And then Halo 3 came out, and they came out with Red Bull Gamer, dang, I keep saying it, Mountain Dew Gamer Fuel, and it had the can with Master Chief on it. Dang, that was so good. Oh man, I love that soda. And then of course Baja Blast. How could you forget about Baja Blast? All
right, I'm glad it made it into the top 5 at least. I was surprised to not see it in the top 3, the Baja Blast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and like the 4 in no particular order. There's you got Whiteout, you got Voltage, you got Gamer Fuel, you got Baja Blast, in no particular order, top 4.
Okay. That's an ever-rotating cast.
Then you have regular-ass Mountain Dew.
Yeah, and then the green stuff, Mountain Dew.
And then you have the green stuff. I was like, those are my opinions on sodas. If you have any of those, I'll be drinking it. If you don't, I'll have a nice... Oh! Favorite cola. Screw Pepsi, screw Coke. It's all about Royal Crown, baby.
You're on
RC
that RC
Cola. I'm on that RC, baby.
That's a bold opinion.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people would follow you down that road, man.
Not a lot of people are as smart as me.
You're a breed. You're a breed above the rest.
I'm a rare breed.
RC. I'll be. If I had to swear my allegiance to a cola brand, I wouldn't.
That's the correct choice.
For sure, man. Mountain Dew. The last time I was home with my parents and siblings, we stopped at our local Red Lobster for a bite to eat. Mm-hmm. And when I arrived, I remembered something that I had a good laugh about in private, in that they are offering the Dew-Rita, Marga Dew-Rita.
I have got to get me a Dew-Rita.
It is in fact a margarita made with Mountain Dew at your local Red Lobster, of all places. um, and I saw it, and I looked my dad square in the eyes, and I was like, Dad, I need you to understand that this is important to me. I must get this Dorita. I must get blasted.
The Baja Blast.
Yeah, can we stop at Taco Bell on the way home? But I slammed the Dorita. I passed it around the table. It was fine. It tasted, I don't know, it tasted like Mountain Dew and tequila. I enjoyed it. My sister said those exact words in a condescending way. She was like, it just tastes like Mountain Dew and tequila.
As if that isn't why you're there.
It's just like, yeah, it tastes like Mountain Dew and tequila. And it's quite good.
Yeah, I'd like to hope. I do enjoy it. I was going to do it again. Mountain Dew. I almost said Red Bull.
I don't drink a lot of Mountain Dew, but there was never very much available in my household. My dad swore his allegiance to Pepsi Cola early on. Mm. So there was usually Pepsi in the house. And then my mom, like, I guess she just watched an episode of Dr. Phil or something where they said, hey, water, gotta be drinking it. And she just was just like, hey, gang, so we're a water household now, so drink water only. And I'm grateful because to this day I drink so much more water than I probably would have otherwise.
Yeah, I remember being at like various places where I work, and they're like, "Hey, can you like we're all getting sodas? You want a soda?" I'm like, "No, just like I work super close to the break room. If I'm thirsty, I'll go and get a water." And they're like, "No, dude, but we're getting soda." Like, yeah, but I mean, I'm gonna drink a water, and they're like, "All right, dude, are you sure? Because I'm buying." I'm like, "I can buy myself a water." They're like, "So you want a water? You want like a vitamin water? You want like a stupid life water?" And I was like, "No, dude, I'm going to go to the break room. I'm going to fill up a cup with the clear stuff, and I'm gonna drink it." And they're like, "All right, dude, whatever. Why are you being weird about it?"
I can see both perspectives of that one because they're like, "We're having fun, man. We're doing an unhealthy thing. Join us."
Yeah, I mean that's how it went. It was like, oh, you know what? Get me a thing, and like I'll just like not drink it, or I'll drink it on the way home, or like, oh, you know what? After a hard day of work, I'm gonna crack open this bad boy. But you know, like I wouldn't ever turn down a gift.
True, but at the same time, it's like you're gonna twist this guy's arm for a fucking Coke. Yeah. Like, come on, there's a time and a place to pick these kinds of battles. But I'm proud of you for sticking to your guns. You know, peer pressure is not an easy thing to wiggle your way out of.
Yeah, man, we shooting.
All right, so I think it's time for us to maybe potentially start trying to land this plane in the form of me beginning our final segment. I'm going to tell you a joke.
All right.
I recently started writing just about every day, little like monologue style jokes. A lot of them end up just being like corny boomer jokes where it's just like, take my wife, please, or something like that.
Man, I would like to think that part of the reason why you and I get along so well is I love that stuff.
Fuck
like,
yeah.
So many people would be like, I don't know, I don't want like on some like kids are too sensitive nowadays stuff where it's like, oh, well, you don't like your wife or whatever. But no, it's like, that's definitely like such a foregone type of comedy where like back in my day, we just said, no, it's not about that. It's not about hating your wife. It's about the double entendre of language, because you're like, take my wife, for example, but no, you're saying take my wife, please, get it? Yeah. And then they're like, oh, no respect. I love it. I love just like, it's not even like a twist to the knife. It's just like the sudden swerve, and then you're like, you thought I was gonna say this, but I said that instead. I love it.
It's a thing of beauty. Okay, perfect. Well, I'm not gonna ask you to don't go too easy on me, because I do have these jokes here. I don't have one for today. I did not write one today, which I am not proud of, but I have lots and lots of jokes here that I've been writing in the recent past, so I'm going to pull one up for you. I've been writing a lot, and I've been pretty disciplined about it, and I'm pretty proud of myself for that. And part of this segment is to keep me honest and keep writing so that my pool of jokes that I have here doesn't dwindle, and also to get an honest opinion, because I don't have open mics available to me currently. I could do them online, but I tried a few. Not quite the same. So live comedy, for the most part, is on hiatus. So this is a good way for me to tell jokes. And I found the joke I was going to tell. So Here we go. Biden's IRS could give Trump's tax returns to the Democrats. All Trump has given them is IBS. What do we got here?
That one's good. like that's not like a belly buster, but I definitely had like a stupid grin on my face. Like oh man, like get it? No,
Yeah.
no, like these rule, dude.
Oh, heck yeah. All right, good, good. That makes me glad.
Yeah.
Yeah. The silence did shake me for a second. I won't lie to you. I was just like, oh god, I'm bombing. I'm glad you specified that you had a big
that's
grin.
the unfortunate part of doing a remote podcast is like you don't see like how dumb and smiling I am. Like
All right.
it is funny talking about the potential bomb. Like I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of that. But go on. Go.
All right. So this one, you know Boston Dynamics, right?
Yeah, those stupid dog robots things.
Yeah. And like the robots can like run and jump and stuff.
Yeah.
So did you see that Hyundai bought them out?
I didn't.
Yeah, Hyundai bought out Boston Dynamics, which I'm relieved because now when the robot overlords take over, we know they're not going to last longer than 5 years.
Is that your commentary on Hyundais? They suck?
Yeah, Hyundai's a bad car.
Dang.
Yeah, imagine your robot overlord's about to chase you down and then the check engine light comes on.
Dang.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, man.
All right.
These
Killing them.
That's pretty good.
You like that one? All right.
Yeah, I like the check engine light. That's a good one.
All right, that's a good tag. All right, cool. Check engine light. I'll put a star next to that one. Let's see. When I was a kid, the school bully would take my lunch money on the playground. Now they just have me send it through Venmo.
I think the kids are using Cash App because it's on the rap song.
You think Cash App's the hot one?
Yeah.
All right, I'll make that change. Cash App.
I don't know the name of songs nowadays, but it's like, cause I got Cash App, don't need no. It's that one. You'd know it. The audience knows. I know you know, audience.
Let's see. This is a joke. All right, you know what? How many jokes did I tell? I told like 3 jokes. I'm
hold on. Let's riff on that bully one. It's like shaking me down, pushing me up against the locker. Give me the Bitcoin. Like, scan this QR code.
Yeah.
Give me 0.000 Bitcoin.
And tell your mom that I like her OnlyFans.
Ooh.
Tell
your dad I watched his gardening blog.
It's just like, oh yeah, your dad's stream, it stinks.
Let me look through my drafts.
Oh, you got a few? Yeah, man, hit me with some of yours if you got them.
Hold on. Are any of these good?
Yeah, is this anything?
No, these suck. No, these is just me being mad. That they were takes that were too hot. Dang. Man, I was an angry person when I wrote those.
Hey man, sometimes you gotta let it out.
Yeah. Not in public. I think each one of these things I'm looking at my drafts are things I've had conversations with people. But then, I just, like, I'm looking at my drafts, I'll throw my phone across the room and say, hey, what do you think about this? But, I mean, those are things that are surely irrelevant in this day and age.
All right, I found one here that it actually may turn into a bit, but I don't know if you've had this experience with your family, but when I was younger, my family insisted that I was wasting my time playing video games.
Oh, yeah. That's universal. We all been there.
Yeah, and like in particular when I was playing Guitar Hero, my dad would be like, why don't you just play the real guitar? And I'm like, but it's...
I don't get points for playing real guitar.
Yeah, but whenever I visit home now, all my family wants to do is like sit around and watch fat people on TV eating sandwiches in different cities. And I'm just like, you could eat a sandwich. Why aren't you... if you like sandwiches so much, just go eat it. You have bread. I didn't have a guitar. But you've got salami in the fridge right now. Go make a sandwich if it's so important to you to eat a sandwich. What do you think about that? Does that have meat on the bone, so to speak?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I feel like hold on. I think you're the cool person to workshop jokes with, because you got that ear, you got the ear and the eye for comedy.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, I feel like the joke could be a little bit shorter. Get to the punch a little bit quicker. Like,
oh yeah, this is still
it's the
raw
setup.
material.
It's the raw material. The reason I bring this up was I was thinking about the raw material. I remember I told you that I had a joke, and it's not a good joke. In fact, it's a bad joke. But I was like, I come up with the punchline first. I was like on my Twitter and people were talking about persona for some reason, and I was like, people comedically call persona purse owner because the words kind of sound similar, and I was like, purse owner, car owner, corona, and that's a dumb train of thought, but I'm also a dumb guy. So I remember asking you, I was like, hey, the punchline of the joke is car owner, corona, and you were like, yeah, I could see that joke. And I think the thing that I came up with, like, come down to Big Bill Hells, where it's the only place where you could catch the virus, car owner virus.
The car owner virus.
Yeah,
that's great. I think that's solid.
Yeah,
that's a solid little gag. Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah. I think
I'm a little bit self-conscious about that one because it's like, man, I don't want to make jokes about people's expenses because I personally know a lot of people who've gotten coronavirus.
Yeah, I had to scrap a whole project at the beginning of all this. I don't know. You probably remember me early on bringing it up to you because I was going to ask you to do a voice for it. I was going to do like a little YouTube series where I basically deliver a monologue.
Yeah, I remember you asking me about that.
Early on, because the virus was so relevant, I was like, well, I gotta strike while the iron's hot, right? And I struck, and I came up with what I thought were some pretty solid jokes, and then it just became not funny anymore.
Yeah. Like,
the jokes maybe still were good jokes, but, like, the world became not a funny... It's not a funny joke anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I just had to scrap the whole project, because I was like, this leans too heavily on this, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I can relate to your pain there, but I don't know. I think that's a silly, goofy joke, man. I think you could post that, man.
Yeah, I got another silly, goofy joke. I remember this isn't a setup. This is me telling you the situation in which I came up with this joke. So my girlfriend comes over and making breakfast, and my brother's there too. We're cooking breakfast. We're all just chit chatting in the kitchen, and my brother gets out this big cast iron, and like it has a whole bunch of like stuff on it. I personally don't understand why you would use a cast iron. It's because the lipid layer and it tastes good. You're not supposed to wash it or use soap. And I was like, man. And then comedy struck. I got the lightning bolt, and I was like, cast iron. Not supposed to wash it. And I was like, boom. I'm gonna call you Cast Iron Man. Because you never wash. I ain't see you... Because you don't put soap on. Call you Tony Stank.
That's killer.
Yeah.
That's
great. And then, like, I told them, I brought it up as in, like, hey, this is a joke. And then I said it. And then they're like, yeah, that's good. You got him. And it was like, they were like, hey, you did it. No, that's a good pun. Yeah. But I was like, saying it to myself. I was like pumping myself. Like, Cast Iron Man, Tony, because the soap. And then I said it, and they were like, "What are you do? Are you whispering? What are you saying?" And then I was like, "I'm talking about a joke. Here it is. Boom!" And then they were laughing, and I was like, "It was worth it."
That happens with me a lot, especially with Angela. She'll just see me like blank staring in the middle of her conversation. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, something you said 10 minutes ago made me think of something funny."
Yeah.
So I'm doing that right now. So actually, could you stop talking for a minute so I can finish thinking about this joke?
Yes. Stop making me think of other things until I can finish this thought.
Yeah. When you said cast iron, my mind immediately went to like a role-playing game where you set up camp for the night and they're just like, oh no, we have nothing to cook on. It's just like, oh, don't worry about it. I cast iron.
And then we eat rocks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, that's like, you could cook anything on this. What are you talking about? It's the only cooking tool you need. This was a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, I certainly
did. You enjoy
myself.
This? Cool, man. Like I said, I'm going to use this as a way to keep in better touch with my friends and family and stuff. So, if you're open to it, I'd be happy to have you back on.
Mm-hmm.
Among others, yeah, and then I'll probably invite our other pals along. And then who knows if, as I grow more ambitious with my editing skills, I may have multiple people on simultaneously. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we hit the stop recording button? I know we said your Twitter, the other podcast you edit on, Haunts Are Us. They talk about haunted dolls. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, check out my SoundCloud, www.yahoo. Check out... check out that podcast I edit, Haunts Are Us. It's a couple of cool gals talking about haunted stuff. I edited it. I edit it. There's a couple of fun things I like to throw in the videos. Yeah, I recently made a short that was made in Windows 3D Movie Maker, like from like the 90s, and I thought it was cool. It was like a really ambitious project for me, and I was like, hey, this program is cool, but it also kind of sucks. So I got to learn how to use Source Filmmaker. And that's going to be really interesting. So look forward to Source Filmmaker videos in the very far future, just in case I don't do it at all, or if it turns out to be a difficult program to use. Because I'd hate to listen to this in the future and like, dang, I really said I was going to do that and I didn't. Dang. So I'm just going to say, before the end of 5 years from now, expect at least 0 Source Filmmaker videos for the podcast that I'm a part of.
Hell yeah, dude. And you can follow him on Twitter for updates if he starts talking about... I think it's pretty easy to foreshadow things in your life because you'll just start tweeting about it.
Yeah, Twitter is very much a journal to me. I really enjoy it. I don't, like, participate in Twitter too much. Like, I'm not, like, quote retweeting people. I'm not, like, replying to people. It's just like, no, Twitter's for me. I'm going to follow the people that I follow, and I'm going to talk about the stuff that I like to talk about. You ever run into that thing where you're like, huge major world events are happening, and then you're like, man, I kind of don't feel like talking about, like, you know, the sandwich I had, but it was a good sandwich and I want to tweet about it. It reminds me of that episode of a show, I think it was called, like, I don't know. There was a show about people who smoke weed, and there was an episode with Hannibal Buress in it where he was, like, mugged or something. And he was going to make a tweet about how he was mugged, and then he deleted the tweet and then made a joke about, like, a sandwich he had. And I remember speaking to you about it, and you were like, no, he's just getting on with his life. He's not letting the mugging affect him any longer than it has to. He was really scared, and now he's over it, and I was tweeting about sandwiches again. And I'd like to think my Twitter is about tweeting sandwiches.
I said that?
Yeah. It's a show on HBO. I don't remember the name of the show. It's a show about weed.
I know the show about weed that you're talking about. I do remember talking about that show specifically with you. I don't remember having that opinion about Hannibal Buress and Twitter, but I guess I don't disagree with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were smarter then than you are now. No, it was a really interesting thing that you had said back then, and it really made me think about the way that I use social media in a positive way. And I was like, hey, no, this is for me, and I can talk about the things I want to regardless of what's happening in the world.
Yeah, that happens to me pretty frequently, though, where it happened to me the day they officially announced Biden as the winner of the election. I hyped myself up. I was like, I'm going to talk about this musician I like. I'm going to tweet about it. I'm going to say Devin Townsend rules. I love Devin Townsend. And I tweeted it, and within a minute of tweeting about it, Biden was announced the winner. And so people that I follow started tweeting like, what a powerful moment in the world that this is right now. We're finally moving on with it. And I was like, you guys like Devin Townsend too? How cool. And it's just like, no.
Man, I would much rather talk about Devin Townsend than Joe Biden. I hate Joe Biden sucks. And I don't think that's like a political thing to say. Like, Joe Biden, he's stupid, he sucks, and I hate him. I'm glad he's president, or am I?
Sure.
I don't know. Like, I can think of exactly one person named Bernie Sanders I'd like to have be president instead of Joe Biden. Sure. But we don't know who that guy is, and we don't talk about him.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? I definitely agree with you, man. I'm trying to keep it to myself mostly until we have new asses in new seats, formally, officially. But, man, like, how did we end up with this crusty diaper-ass, fucking old-ass, geezery-ass fucking... Ugh. Yeah. It's so gross that we got strong-armed into this.
Yeah. Like, everyone uses the analogy, and it's a beaten horse, except it's just so apt. Of Lucy of Peanuts fame taking the football away from good old Charlie Brown.
Oh, ain't that the truth?
It just keeps on happening, and we just got to be okay with it. Like,
yeah,
you better not take the football this time. Oh no, you didn't.
The
again.
nuclear football.
It better not happen 15 more times, or else I'll ask you to stop.
Yeah,
that's a tweet I stole. I forgot who did it. Shout out to that person. I thought it was a good tweet. I think I clicked the heart button.
But like I said, I've already said more than I was planning on saying before January 20th, just because, you never know. And I mentioned about an hour ago how I somehow always find a way to make things my fault that have nothing to do with me. And so if I'm like, oh, I spoke bad about Joe Biden, and then tomorrow it's just like Trump's army came forth and took over the world. Oops, everybody's racist now. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
It's because I shot my load too early about my Biden opinion, man. It was on me. I have this. The same thing happens if I'm watching my favorite sports team do a sport. For this past season, the Raiders were doing pretty okay, and then I watched a game.
And then it was the game they lost?
Yeah, it's the game they lost, and it's also like the moment that their season ended. Like, they started doing bad. And I was like, I should have known better.
That's such a bummer too, because this season I don't follow American football. I don't follow non-American football. Hand egg. Soccer is what I meant to say.
Sure.
I don't really follow sports. Not because like I'm a dang old nerd and I don't care about sports. I think sports are cool. I just don't follow them. I like the NBA. I know a lot more about the NBA than I do about the NFL. Perfect. But the Raiders. Everyone says like, oh, the Raiders suck. Pfft, the Raiders are bad. Or you think the Raiders are cool. Yeah, they're the best team on earth. I don't know much about the Raiders. I don't know much about the NFL. But everyone I know who's a Raiders fan loves to party. And it's like, shit, dude, I like to party. Like, I'll go to a Raiders game. Like, I'll go to Las Vegas and see a Raiders game. That sounds cool as hell. So, like, now I'm a Raiders fan. I don't know any of the players. I don't know who their star guy is. I don't particularly care to know. I'll wear a Raiders jersey, and then I'll be invited to a Raiders party. And if we win, bang, drinks for everybody on you, because I'm not buying. I'm here for the drinks.
Oh, dude, if you're walking along, if you enter a household and you hear Raiders, that's the sound of people about to get drunk.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sports is just athletes going out there, being themselves, having fun with their friends, and they get paid to do it. So, what's wrong with that?
Sure, why not, man? We're all out here having fun, and and some of us are getting paid a lot to do it.
Mm-hmm. Some of us are getting paid millions of dollars to hit our heads really hard, and then forget why we hit our heads so hard or where all this money came from.
Yeah, you just wake up rich and dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's put a bow on this.
All right.
You didn't stop recording it.
No. Is this the part? Is it officially over?
I'm still recording.
All right. So
do you want to do one more joke? Should we put it on a lighter note?
No. We didn't talk about how we're gonna end this thing.
Well, I usually end it on a joke.
Okay, go. Hit me.
Oh, shit. I happened... I tried to do my favorite guitar lick, but it gave my tongue a nasty splinter.
Got 'em.
All right, man. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I appreciate you, dude.
No problem, man. Thank you so much for having me.
I'll put all your stuff in the description if people are interested. Hey, gang. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to the channel if you can. Your support is greatly appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again soon.